Okay. Hey everyone. Since this video is going to be about writing in general, I thought maybe I can begin with this simpler, more basic idea about moving back and forth between the notebook, writing with the notebook and writing with the keyboard. For me, the way I think about these two, the way I switch back and forth between these two, is like this. Ideally, I would only, I mean, in a perfect world, I would only need my laptop. I would only need keyboard, writing with the keyboard on the computer because it is more efficient, faster. But there are times where I kind of feel stuck. I feel like the writing just doesn't flow or doesn't happen. And in some of those occasions, I, I manage to unstuck myself and I move to the notebook, to the simplicity of the notebook, to the physicality of the notebook, to the kind of embodiment and the richer tactile sensations associated with writing with the notebook, with the pen and paper. So because of that inefficiency, because of the move to the inefficiency, things kind of open up. Things open up on the page. And once they open up, sometimes you can kind of transfer that back to the more efficient place, platform, medium of the keys on the keyboard. Okay, now with that, let's get to the actual topic. So the main thing I want to talk about in relation to writing is the role of honesty, or the role of truthfulness, the relationship with the truth in the act of writing. I come in contact, I come to contact with this idea. This idea has become repeatedly obvious to me how important it is for the act of writing to be in contact with reality and to come from a place that is honest. So honesty is, I think, it is the essence of writing. So since I've moved to Toronto, since I've officially resigned from academia, my writing and my relationship with writing has changed. I have, because of the transition and time limitations, I have less time, but I still try to devote at least 1 hour or half an hour per day sitting to write. And the way that happens is I sit down each time, I write down some ideas, and on the next day I return to those ideas. And when the ideas are coming from a deep place, not just honest, but honesty in a way that cuts deep into something that is significant, something that is unexplored, something that is that has a reality to it. Hello. It's come. Let's include you. Okay. Yeah. The advantage of that is that the next day, when you return to that writing, when you return to that draft, you realize that it still resonates. There's still like, oh yeah, that is important, or that is something that is significant to me, and I can add detail to it. I can flourish it, or I can add extensions of it. I can add, there's like a big branch, I can add smaller branches to this thought. I can extend the thought, continue the thought, because it is real. So that reality, that truthfulness, the truth acts like the engine, or the fuel. It fuels the movement of writing forward. There are also other times when I start writing something, or I have a piece of writing that was initially motivated by some linguistic beauty, or something that was like a nice turn of phrase, or something that I thought was clever, a clever observation. For me, those clever observations, those clever turns of phrases, they don't fuel the writing, the act of writing, in the same way. They're not as reliable. What is reliable is that honesty, that feeling that you're writing about something that you can keep writing about. You are exploring something that you can continue to explore. So the next day, the day after, the next day, day after day, you can keep returning to this thing. And because what you have written is truthful because it is significant, then you will be motivated. I mean, I'm talking about myself. I'm motivated to return to those sentences and make them better because the sentences are trying to capture something that is important and true. And for that reason, I continue that the craft is secondary to honesty. I mean, honesty is for me, the essential attribute of writing. This is something that I wouldn't have felt maybe like 5-10 years ago. I wouldn't have felt this with this level of conviction. Just like how my thinking about teaching has changed. For me, teaching, the essential attribute of teaching is generosity, not knowing stuff. So, because when you're generous, then you begin this cycle that you can keep returning. You can keep returning to that giving position of the teacher. The teacher is trying to give something, and that later has its own consequences. This relation to truthfulness has other applications. In general, if you are someone who maybe struggles with assertiveness, or maybe you want to be a little bit more aggressive, you can reframe this challenge in terms of your relationship with the truth. So you're not just defending yourself, you're not just standing up for yourself, you're standing up for something that is truthful. You're standing up for the truth. And once you externalize that, once you say, okay, I'm not just defending myself, I'm defending a position that is the right position, that is, as far as I can tell, it is the position of the truth. Or it is, based on what we can tell. So you can, just like how it is always easier for us to defend somebody that we love against other people, against aggression, against injustice. It comes more naturally to us to come to the defense, come to the protection of people that we love, especially people who are less able to protect themselves, than just protecting ourselves and standing up for ourselves. But I think when we reframe that standing up for ourselves as a kind of standing up for the truth and that kind of honesty, I think it enables it to some degree. It unlocks that capacity. And with writing, I've heard people say, like, why should I write? Why should anybody be interested in things that I have to write about, or I have to share? Things that I can share. Why would people be interested in it? Well, they might be interested in it because they're true. I think that's a significant reason. Maybe it is not just true, but it is a kind of truth that you have committed to, that you have stayed with, and you have kind of committed to expressing. So it is truth plus all your efforts, the time that you took, all the time that you put into a clear, effective communication of that truth, those truths, and the way that you have seen them, felt them. All right, so that's it. I'll just end by reminding you that we have a writers group. If you are interested in exploring these things more seriously, in a deeper way, more systematic way, more consistently, I have a writers group. It is not really my group. I'm just the person who initiated and organized. The group has its own life, its own spirit, and the life that it has, it can benefit individual participants in that group, including myself and other people. So I include informations about that group in the descriptions of this video. Otherwise, thank you for your attention. If you have questions, comments, please share them below, and I will speak with you in the future videos.